Hello. Hello.
Hello. No, yes. Hello.
Hi, is it Pat? Is it?
Yes, it is.
So I did remember. We're just a little bit early.
Yes, that's okay. Me too.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know if you have any pleasant music in the background or whatever, but we're not going to have a big house today. A lot of people are out on vacation or otherwise. So, did you get an agenda?
I didn't get an agenda.
I thought I resent, I did resend or sent an email this morning with the agenda on it. And I thought you had received it.
No, I had not.
Okay, well, let me see if I can.
And I looked in my email because I was communicating with my boss about something. So, so I had been in my email.
Sure. Let's see. Where you go? Mhm. Let's see. So Patty, what email am I looking for?
You would be looking at Par Acres.
Par Acres. Okay, let me see if I can find it. Because I sent a broadcast out, but I assumed that you were on it.
I didn't, well, I would have to go in and look. I think it's been on the business email and not my personal. And I did look at my personal email this morning, so it's not there either.
Okay, so that would be Par Acres
at gmail.com.
Okay, I just sent it away.
Okay.
We're getting a few more people. There's Tara coming on board. Hi, Tara.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good.
Whoa. How's every little thing in Gresham?
It's good. It's good. Things have been picking up and kind of expanding on some of our programming. So it's pretty good.
Oh, well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think we need one more person with white hair and we'll have a foursome.
It's like we coordinated.
Yes. Anyway, I guess Brian's out today.
Yep.
So that means you're got the reins.
Yep. I'll step in. I have a thing at like 11:30-ish. So I'm hoping we'll tighten up the meeting and end by then. But if we can't, I'll just have to push my other thing.
Okay, well, you get an agenda?
I did. Yeah, I got the
Okay.
agenda.
Okay, so you've got the agenda.
Yeah.
It's, it's pretty concise, short this time, I think.
Yep.
And Rick's not here, so he can't, uh, we can't comment on some things. But, we're here and my wife's knocking on my door.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay. She needs paper for her printer.
Oh, is this meeting supposed to be by Teams or Zoom?
It's Zoom.
Because I just got a notification that somebody's starting the meeting by Teams.
No, it's Zoom.
Okay. Okay.
No one's, it should be pretty
Oh, there it
clear.
is. Okay, Alexandra said the meeting is on Zoom, so must have just popped in to let people know.
People entered the waiting room. Okay.
I also didn't get the October minutes. And I went back and checked just in case I was being a little spacey.
Not a problem. Somehow or other, you got omitted. And what I'll do, Pat, is I'll send you the minutes.
Great.
Does everybody else have the agenda and the minutes for today? Or anybody need it? Okay.
So it's away, Pat.
Okay, thank you. I'm doing a little adjustment here on this Zoom camera that wants to droop.
And John is coming on. So I believe that's everybody in the waiting room that I think may appear today.
Okay.
And James is on. And it's 10:03, maybe a couple more minutes, and then we'll begin. Here comes Shauna. Yep, Shauna's here. And neighbor to neighbors here. There she is. You broke a smile. You're kind of glum there, kiddo. I haven't said anything yet.
I'm home with a cold.
So
Yeah.
Yeah. Not good.
Angela and Patrick cannot make today.
Okay. Then that may be everyone.
Yeah.
Because Patrick can't make it either. So, all righty.
Great. Thank you. Okay, so I don't think I was at the last meeting. I know I missed a couple of these. I'm stepping in for Brian while he's away to facilitate today. And checking in then, are there folks here that don't know each other yet? And it would be helpful to do introductions.
Don't know James.
Okay, let's do introductions then. Maybe Oh, sorry, Heather, you had unmuted.
No, I echo John.
Great. Okay, so let's do some introductions. I'll kind of help guide around on the boxes so people don't have to worry about calling on somebody, and remembering who was called. So I'll start with Ken. Just introduce your name, your role, and what is something that you're looking forward to.
Well, I'm Ken Pryor, and I'm the program coordinator for MMCRC. And what I'm looking forward to is seeing my granddaughter. I'm going to take a gamble and go down to Los Angeles and, hopefully transit without incident.
Great, thank you, Ken. Okay, let's go to, and is it Pat with Par Acres? Is that what I heard?
Yes.
Okay, Pat.
So I'm Pat, and I manage Par Acres, and this is my 19th year here. Well, I managed to get a mild case of COVID about Thanksgiving time, a little before. It was a mild case, but it kept me home, and so I just pulled out my Christmas decorations and went a little berserk with it. They're everywhere, and it was great. I love walking in and seeing it. And usually some stuff gets pulled out, of course, and put up. But this year was the berserk year because I had COVID. So that was the good news about COVID.
Wow. Oh, thank you.
And it was mild, and I was really lucky. It was a mild case.
So didn't hit you too hard, and you had some
No.
extra to put up Christmas
Didn't.
decorations.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. Let's go to Alexandra.
Hi there, I'm Alexandra Rank. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a member of our government relations team here at OHCS, and I work primarily with our homeownership division. And what am I looking forward to for the holidays or just in general? I guess the beginning of legislative session. Weirdly enough, and John is now laughing at me. I'm excited.
Okay, so Alexandra, looking forward to more work. Love it. Great, thank you so much. Let's go to Heather.
I am Heather. I'm with Neighbor to Neighbor. I use she, her pronouns, and I am looking forward to all the family that's coming through. None of them all at the same time. So I get family from Nebraska, then my son coming home, then other kids coming home. So it's spread out over the next 10 days.
All right, so having family come in and kind of spreading them out a bit. Great, thanks, Heather. John.
So I'm John Van Laningham. I work as a lawyer for something called the Oregon Law Center. I'm based in Lane County in Eugene, and I've done this work for almost 45 years. And I negotiated and basically drafted Senate Bill 586, which created this group. And just to respond to Alexandra, I'm not looking forward to legislative session, but one of the things I normally would be looking forward to, some of you know that my wife is, at least for the next 2 weeks, the Chief Justice of the Oregon Supreme Court. And normally on opening day, which is January the 9th, she would have sworn in the new governor. And it's a thrill to see her do that. But it will be a new Chief Justice swearing in the new governor. I'm looking forward to snow, being in the snow.
Oh, great, great. Looking forward to being in the snow. And it sounds like some changes are happening with your wife.
Yeah. Retirement.
Great. Thanks, John. Congratulations. All right, James.
Hi, I'm James Klosnick with OHCS. I'm a communications coordinator specializing in the homeownership and disaster recovery programs. So just here listening, basically, I'm looking forward to not snow. I'm looking forward to the opposite of snow. I'm traveling to the Rose Bowl, so I'm looking to head down to Southern California, and also hoping to have a non-eventful transit. So thank you.
Great. Thank you, James. Welcome. So sounds like you're looking forward to some sun. Great. Great. And Shauna.
I'm Shauna. I'm the new program analyst with OHCS with the MMCRC and Manufactured Housing Replacement Program. And I've been working with rewriting the rules, editing, revising the rules, and working on the website. And also helping Rick with grant, working with procurement, getting some grants out. And what I'm looking forward to, I'm looking for decorating my tree. We cut down our tree. It's what you do in Bend, Oregon. And I think mine is maybe an illegal tree, but I'm not really sure because I think there's a certain size it has to be. And I just set it up in my house last night and it looks like a Dr. Seuss tree. Like it's just totally crazy. Because I mean, there was like, talk about snow. John, just come out to Bend. I mean, we must have walked through like 5 feet of snow. So to cut down the tree.
It's good.
So yeah,
Wow.
it is good unless you keep crashing, and everybody's been crashing their cars. But,
Oh, really?
yeah, the roads are very icy.
Okay. Okay, Shauna, thank you. Looking forward to decorating your tree and hopefully it's
We've got
Hopefully
a
it
couple
works
more
out.
people. We have a couple more people signing in. Stephen Cornwall and Carrie Hodai.
okay. So Stephen and Carrie, we're just introducing our name, role, and something that we're looking forward to. Carrie, would you like to go first?
Hello. Sorry, I was having a little snack. We were just in a meeting. I am Carrie Hodai. I am the program manager for the manufactured home replacement program for OHCS. It's a loan program to replace manufactured homes, older energy and efficient manufactured homes. I'm sorry, I wasn't expecting to have to go first and I still have food in my cheek. I'm so sorry. You caught me off guard. Ooh.
Okay, Carrie, thank you. And maybe I'll go to Stephen so you can finish the food route, and then Carrie, I'll ask you something that you're looking forward to. So Stephen, what is your name, role, and something you're looking forward to?
Yeah, Stephen, can you hear me? Yes, I think everyone can hear. I'm Stephen Cornwall, the new home ownership research analyst. What am I looking forward to? I guess I'm looking forward to the Christmas break. Looking forward to eating a lot of Christmas treats, so that will be nice. But yeah, that's it about me.
Great,
Not much to
welcome,
say.
Stephen. Sounds like looking forward to some treats and a break.
Yeah.
Right. And Carrie, what was something that you're looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to the snow melting in Bend. I'm not a winter person, so I'm going to Mexico in May. I'm looking forward to that.
Great, thank you. So no snow. Some people in here looking forward to snow. A couple people not looking forward to snow. Sounds like there's a couple people from Bend. Very cool. Okay, welcome everyone. In a new check, now that there's more folks with us, does anybody need the agenda or the notes from the last meeting?
Was there a meeting in November? I have the agenda from October, but I don't think I had one from November. I don't know if there was a meeting. I'm not too sure if we had a meeting in November. I'm not sure.
I don't think so. We have the meeting.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Then I'm good.
Great. Okay, and just so I don't make any assumptions, it looks like there's no one from the public. Is that correct? Great. And Ken, nobody else in the waiting room? Okay. Okay, so taking a look at the agenda and the minutes from the October 5th meeting. Let's start with the minutes, October 5th from 10 a.m. to noon. Are there any changes or questions about the minutes?
Yes. Excuse me.
And remind me who here will be jotting this down to make corrections? Great, Sean.
So a couple of corrections on page 2 and 3, mostly of things I said at the October meeting. And without being too picky, just to, so it's understandable. In the middle of at page 2, there's a paragraph that begins with my name. And I start by saying the legislative concept draft can be amended. About 4 lines down below that, it says Oregon Residential and the Tenant Act. So that should say Oregon Residential Landlord and Tenant Act. That's the name of the law that we all operate under, ORS Chapter 90. So it should say there, Oregon Residential Landlord and Tenant Act in 90.767. And then further down in that paragraph, in 2 places, in that paragraph, at the bottom of that paragraph, it refers to writing clauses or writing to clauses. That's my southern mush mouth that tricked the minutes recorder, and it needs to say relating to clauses. So Alexandra knows as well, but every bill has to have a relating to clause. So the bill will say something at the very beginning relating to this subject. And the way our legislature works is the subject of the bill has to be within that relating to clause. So you want it to be broad enough to cover what's in your bill, but you don't want it to be too broad because then somebody may steal your bill and gut and stuff it. But so the relating to clause is important. And my point in that discussion, not that this needs to be in the minutes, my point in that discussion was to say that I was concerned that the relating to clause for the draft of the bill that HCS has requested to extend our sunset, I was concerned was broader than what we're doing and more limiting because it referred to mandatory mediation, and extending the sunset doesn't necessarily involve mandatory mediation. But that's an issue for LC to figure out, not for us to worry about.
And they have agreed to change that relating to clause. I just sent you an email about that bill actually this morning, John.
Great, thank you. So then in the next paragraph that starts with Alexandra's name, she's quoted as saying, yes, we can talk to Elise about this. If only we could talk to somebody named Elise, that would be great. But what she actually said was the initials LC, not a person named Elise. LC is what we all refer to as legislative council. And legislative council are gods. They determine what goes in a bill and what doesn't go in a bill. And then also in that paragraph, the lawyer that we've hired to do the 586 Senate Bill 586 work is Samantha Sheehan, not Sheen, Sheehan. And that typo is repeated in the first paragraph at the top of the next page. So in 2 places, correct Samantha's last name to Sheehan. That's it.
Shauna, did you get everything that you needed?
Yeah, do you want me to go over them?
It's not worth worrying about.
Okay. I think I got them all.
Okay, any other corrections or questions around the notes from the October meeting? Okay, quick review of our agenda today. Are there any additions or questions about the agenda for today before we dive in? Okay, okay, and who would like to approve the October meeting minutes?
I move approval. John,
And is there a second? Heather, great, thank you. Okay, so the next piece, legislature update, John and Alexandra. Take it away.
do you want to go first, Alexandra?
Yeah, I'll kick it off. The legislature just convened kind of for the last time as the current body. We'll see new members come in January. No real updates related to manufactured housing there, mainly focused on kind of what legislative concepts are coming through for the next session. I'm trying to think back, apart from some I-sector bills from Representative Marsh, I don't think we really saw much related to manufactured housing that we're going to see in the next session. But as John said, the members will be sworn in on January 9th, and then session officially begins on January 17th.
So just to supplement that, we don't know, so legislators get to drop bills and nobody, they don't have to tell anybody until they drop them. So dropping them means that they're officially filed, and then everybody gets a copy who wants a copy, and they're available online. So there are rumors, of course. That's a big part of being a legislative advocate, is discussing rumors. Basically what lobbyists do all day long is talk to other lobbyists about the rumors. Sometimes the rumors are true, sometimes they're not. Anyway, the big deal, of course, is going to be a new governor may appoint a new director of OHCS. I'm not hearing any hints about what that might, whether that will happen or who it might be. I do note that she has, Governor-elect Kotek has chosen as her housing policy advisor, Taylor Smiley Wolf. And Taylor was Kotek's housing policy advisor when Kotek was speaker. Taylor has a graduate degree from Cal Berkeley in housing issues. She's very, very smart. She's learned a lot since she came up here to start that work. She spent the last 2 years, I think, being a housing policy person for Home Forward, which is the housing authority in Multnomah and Clackamas. And so that's a great hire, not a surprising hire, but it's a great hire. Taylor will have a big role and stuff. When Kotek was the speaker, she was very much a hands-on housing person. She knows, Kotek is incredibly smart, she's incredibly hardworking, and she really knows housing issues. As governor, she has a much bigger portfolio. So, one of the interesting things going forward will be how much time Kotek can commit to housing issues there. Another big dynamic here is that there's not going to be this kind of money for the 23 legislative session as there has been in the last biennium because of the pandemic and all the federal money flowing into the state. So that's, and as usual, everybody wants more money. And so I'm not sure how that plays out. I don't know what Kotek's legislative priorities might be on housing issues. She had some parks in her district, not very many, because Portland doesn't have hardly any parks left, but she did have marinas in her district. Her district probably had more marinas than any other district in the state. So she might have some issues with marinas, but we don't really know. She has said officially that one of her primary goals will be to address homelessness. And addressing homelessness probably requires building more housing. So we'll see where she goes with that. That probably also involves land use issues, trying to speed up the housing development process. Speaking of which, and I've mentioned this before, Representative Marsh will have a bill that she's had a work group working on it. I've been part of it. It's been led by Bill Van Vliet, who is the director of NOAA. It's a nonprofit bank. I know it's an odd concept, but it is. They do lending on affordable housing projects. And so Van Vliet is a financial expert, and he's leading Marsh's work group. And it's a big part of the focus of that work group is promoting the development of more manufactured home parks and also facilitating more manufactured homes. There's a backlog in the building of manufactured homes because of demand from all the hurricanes and the wildfires. And people are looking at other alternatives such as modular housing. And with some money from the 22 legislative session, Terry McDonald of St. Vincent de Paul now has a plant in Eugene to build manufactured homes. So Terry McDonald never saw a task that he wasn't eager to undertake. So we'll see where that goes. There was a grand opening a couple of months ago with a number of legislators there, including Rep. Marsh. Marsh's bill also will include an amendment to Senate Bill 586 to do something that HCS was not able to do in its bill. HCS has a bill in, can't remember the LC number, I have it here somewhere, excuse me, the Legislative Council number, that would extend the sunset on us. Senate Bill 586 has a 4-year sunset for a couple of parts of it, having to do with the creation of this committee and the funding for this committee. The money for this committee comes from the $10 special assessment that park residents and now marina residents pay to support MCRC. And that there was enough money in that to cover $100,000 for the manufactured home park lawyer that Senate Bill 586 authorized. But we didn't start that process for 2.5 years. And so that pilot of the attorney. And so LC's bill will extend the sunset by a couple of years so that we get the full pilot trial. LC, Legislative Council and DOJ decided it could not make the amendment that I wanted, which is to expand the activities that lawyer is authorized to do under Senate Bill 586. Legislative DOJ has taken the position that that lawyer can only do what is considered to be classic lawyer-client work, where there's a written agreement between the lawyer and the client. There's a specific case. The lawyer represents that client on that specific case. It's more suited really for litigation and dispute. Whereas my concept, and I think the coalition's concept with that bill, was a lawyer who could visit parks, educate residents about the law, and write articles and do a whole bunch of more stuff, a lot of education stuff. And I gave an example that's in the minutes of Representative Marsh having me come or participate remotely in a 2-hour meeting where I answered questions for the park residents of a park in Ashland, where the residents felt like the manager was treating them badly. Under DOJ's interpretation, the 586 lawyer could not do that or could not get paid to do that. And that's disappointing. So DOJ determined that we couldn't do that in HCS's bill. So Marsh is going to do that in her bill. So Marsh's bill will also extend the sunset, but also expand activities authorized by the 586 attorney bill. Other bills, there will be a bunch of bills, I assume, but as we noted earlier, we don't know what they are until they get dropped in next month. But certainly some of them will have to do with Senate Bill 608's rent cap. So the rent cap imposed by Senate Bill 608 is 7% plus CPI. And the state DAS determines every September what the CPI increase for the current year will be effective the following January 1. Because of inflation, DAS determined that the inflation CPI factor for 2023 will be 7.6%. So you add those two together, the rent cap for 2023 is 14.6. That scares the shorts off of a lot of park residents. Not that every landlord will do that, of course not. But there's a lot of fear there. And so a lot of residents, I think, are commenting to the legislators that they want to limit that. That's going to be a difficult sell in the legislature, because I think my sense is a lot of legislators are tired of dealing with landlord tenant issues after doing a number of moratoria on non-payment evictions for the last 2 years. You know, the pandemic started in March of 2020. So we're almost at the 3-year point of the emergency. But there will be bills proposing that. There will be also other bills proposing other changes to landlord tenant law. Most of them, I think, favoring tenants. I have no idea whether they will move forward or even get a hearing. But those bills will probably be introduced. And some of them will have to do with eviction procedure, maybe extending the time periods in eviction procedure to encourage the use of mediation and rent assistance programs going forward. Right now, eviction process is that a landlord can give a non-payment termination notice on the 8th day after rent is late. If a tenant doesn't pay within that 72-hour period, the landlord can file an eviction lawsuit. At that point, the tenant can no longer pay the rent and make the case go away. And the statutes provide for that eviction first appearance in court to be 7 days after filing and a trial within 15 days if a trial is requested. So it's a pretty fast process. To landlord, it's not fast enough, but for tenants, it seems fast, and it's difficult to get rent assistance or deal with mediation in those short periods. So there will be bills to extend those periods. The Chief Justice extended them during the pandemic because of a desire to minimize the workload of the courts to keep them open during the pandemic, but also to allow people to get all the federal rent assistance that was flowing in. I think those are the main bills that I see that relate to our work. Emphasize that, again, there's not going to be the kind of money in the 23 session that was in 21 and 22. Happy to answer any questions.
And I'll just add a little bit more color on the governor's kind of focus. So far, what we're seeing from her transition team is a very, very heavy focus on kind of immediate rehousing and homelessness. And we're not kind of expecting a heavy focus on kind of home ownership and kind of more the tenant field so far.
So that's thank you, Andrew. That's helpful. And just to note that a number of the important bills that I've just mentioned were negotiated personally, one-on-one by the speaker when she was by Kotek when she was speaker. So if she has the capacity to do that again, you're going to see some significant things, I hope.
Her team so far has really been focusing on it. So we'll see what happens.
And minutes taker, you don't need to repeat all that detail.
Okay. Okay, other questions? Oh, can I see your hand up?
Yes, John, can you comment on the CPI? Because there are issues with some of the larger ownerships are using a different CPI, and takes precedent, state law or their previously created, it just says CPI, it doesn't really specify in many of those contracts. So what's what?
So I know that a number of, or a couple of the larger landlords have a provision in their rental agreement about rent increases being determined by CPI. And it may well be that their CPI is the entire rent increase. It's not 7% plus CPI as Senate Bill 608 caps the rents at. My guess is, and I haven't talked to any landlords about this, but I've had some people asking about it. My guess is that if you're talking about a rental agreement provision for rent increases, for example, what's Amber Monte's group?
IPG,
I think, has a provision that says rent shall be increased every July 1 or something like that by CPI. That controls because it's a contract between the tenant and the landlord, that controls what IPG can do with that tenant. That is less than the Senate Bill 608 cap. So if that rental agreement provides for a different CPI measurement, then that's within the law. If they want to do the Senate Bill 608 rent cap, they have to use the CPI determined by DAS. My guess is that DAS is using a different time period for the determination of the CPI than, for example, IPG is. And the CPI increase is influenced by how many months of inflation you're including in the period in which you're determining it. So, I haven't looked at it, but I'm guessing that inflation went amok not for the entire 2 years, but for certain parts of the 2 years. So if the measurement was in August, as as the DAS might be doing, then you're looking back from August to August. If it's IPG using a different period, then the CPI might be different. But again, as long as IPG is not using a different CPI to do the Senate Bill 608 rent cap, 7% plus CPI, they could, they're using a different CPI determination that's determined by their contract and rounding with tenants. They're fine. It's confusing, but it's legal.
It looks like, I just looked it up, John. It looks like DAS looks at from September to August of the following year is their
Right.
calculation.
Right.
I
Because
just put that in there for everyone.
right, and they announced it in September to be effective January 1. And I have no idea what IPG or any of the other like CalAm might use to determine their own determination of CPI. But again, if they're using the Senate Bill 608 rent cap, they're going to have to use I'm getting tired of these these acronyms. The CPI increase as determined by DAS, which is the Department of Administrative Services.
And they can always find that by just Googling DAS, SB 608, DAS, rent stabilization, anything like that. It'll come up and it'll tell them what the percentage is.
Does that help, Ken?
Yep. Somewhat. I mean, it's somehow or other they're going to have to determine which is which and have the history to back it up. That's okay. Thanks.
Okay, any other questions around the legislator update? Okay, John and Alexandra, anything else that you would add before we move on?
Thank you.
Okay, who is going to take the next piece on the agenda? It's the membership recruitment piece.
Well, we had a meeting in October. I said that I would talk to Chuck Carpenter because I had sent him an email inquiring about whether he might know someone from Eastern Oregon who would be on the committee. And I got a strange response that didn't sound like Chuck. And I knew I was going to see Chuck at the fall conference, the Manufactured Housing Communities of Oregon Fall Conference. So Chuck didn't recognize the email, even though I sent it as I always do if I contact him under the business name Par Acres. Somehow however it came through, he did not recognize it and had no idea who this person was. And so I got this really kind of strange response. So I spoke, so we talked that through and I explained the situation. He didn't have any suggestions. I spoke with Sterling Properties Real Estate Services. Par Acres uses them. They provide an accounting program that we use for the business, and they provide services to various and sundry manufactured home communities, Washington, Oregon. And so I talked to them at the conference about maybe there's someone east of the mountains that they might know who I might talk to about being on this committee, because honestly, I don't know people east of the mountains. And so they almost immediately said, yes, there was someone that they could think of. And so they would talk to me and get back to me. They never got back to me. I sent an email with just a little reminder about our conversation and had they heard from him. And if he had questions, because I'm pretty sure it was he had questions, I'd be happy to answer them. And I haven't heard back.
Okay.
So Pat, is Sterling, is that Jamie Sterling?
No, it's Eric and Bjorn
Okay.
Hess.
Yeah, there was a Jamie Sterling and Eugene that did property management. So can you follow up again with Sterling and see if they?
I can try that again. Yeah. They're usually pretty prompt in responding. This is the only time they haven't been.
Yeah.
So I don't know if maybe they forgot about it. I can follow up again with them.
And Pat, what would you think about, I don't know that we've ever done this, about asking Chuck Carpenter for 20 minutes at a future MHCO conference to describe the work of this group and mandatory mediation.
You know, I will bring that up again. He, his thing was that MHCO has its own attorneys that they use and they present and et cetera. And I said, yes. And then I first learned about landlord tenant by going to fall conference and hearing John speak. And Chuck certainly remembered when you were there, John. I don't know how many times, probably before I ever started going too. So I can bring that up again with him.